Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and as promised, I'm back today with another haul video. And as promised, it's 100% pure gas. Yes, what we're going to show you here is the Smoke Show because everything I'm going to show you is totally cool. It's all going to be Golden Age or key books, first appearances, first issues, all that stuff. There's not very many of them. It's a small group. It's quality over quantity. Before I get to that, I just wanted to quickly mention, speaking of classic Golden Age comics, my comic, The Crime Busters, which is a continuation of the Golden Age series boy comics. It's currently live on Kickstarter. No pressure, but if you feel like taking a look at it, I've got the link down below. Sort of a supernatural mystery adventure, like Scooby-Doo meets Cthulhu sort of thing, and it picks up the continuity from the Crime Buster series and boy comics. So I'll be doing a video next week about boy comics. I've been meaning for quite a while to get to do one of my complete run madness looks at my complete run of boy comics, which ran from 1942 to 1956. And since I have a complete run, I want to show that off. Some content you're probably not going to be able to get anywhere else on YouTube since almost nobody else has this collection. So next week I'm going to be doing a video where I show you the first half of that collection. But anyway, if you're interested, feel free to check the links below for my Kickstarter. Hope to see you there. No big deal. In the meantime, though, let's get right to the back issues. This is what you're here for, the awesome hauls. I was actually going to start this off, ease into it with an Eternals #1 that I picked up recently, but I don't even know where it is. Like, I couldn't find it, so I decided just to skip it. I do have a story behind acquiring the Eternals one, which dovetails with this comic in my hand here. So instead, we're going to start with this here. It's Star Wars #1. Star Wars #1, you can see here, yep, I'm not covering up a blank, reprint box. It's actually, an honest to goodness, first print. It is the regular edition, the 30-cent edition. It's in quite nice condition. It does have, some spine ticks, and a little bit of edge wear from just sort of bouncing around in a box for a long time, but it's probably still, maybe in an 8.5 range, 8 to 8.5, I would say this is in. Now, this and the Eternals one are both part of an original owner collection, and that I picked up a small part of recently. And I was actually going to give this to a friend of mine who's putting together a complete run of Star Wars, but he has a much, much nicer copy than this already. Got a CGC 9.6. So I guess I'll just hang on to this. Both this and the Eternals, the original owner, I was actually buying a number of issues of Conan, some of which I've shown in some of my previous videos. And when the lot arrived, the Star Wars one and the Eternals one were in there. They're a little bit out of my collecting focus, so I wasn't originally planning on buying them. But with the logistics of the coronavirus, I decided it's just easier for me to just pick them up. So these are going to end up staying in my collection. I don't feel comfortable reselling them. So they're either going to stay in my collection, or at some point I might give them away, particularly the Eternals. The Star Wars one is cool. I've owned a high-grade Star Wars one before. It's a really cool book to have. So this, I think, is going to stay in my collection for a while now. But if I had an Eternals, the Eternals one, wherever I set that, I would have shown both those together because they kind of go together. So I've got 5 more books to show you here. There's a couple themes. Which one should I start with thematically? Let's go with the Archies. We got 2 legit, old school, Golden Age Archie books. Starting with this here, it is Archie #28. Archie #28. This is the period where Al Fagley is doing the artwork on the covers. We got a classic like Pop Taste chocolate shop here cover, and then we've got an Archie #33. Archie #33. So these are both mid-40s. Archie #1 came out in 1941. So these are probably the later 40s, like 46, 47. I'm guessing. It's just kind of a guess. anytime I can get an Archie below issue 50, I'm super excited. Um, since the early issues of Archie's are so expensive now, I'm trying to put together a quote unquote complete run of Archie. I know I'll never be able to complete it because I'm just never going to have the money to get the first, say, 15 issues in particular, maybe the first 20. So my goal has been to get issues 50 and up. I'm treating issue 50 as though it's my issue 1, since that's a huge key. But I do still like to get, when I have a chance to get affordable copies, some of the earlier ones before 50. So I've only had a couple until now. So getting the 28 and the 33 both is really exciting. I haven't read them. I do love reading these early Archies. There's a lot of great stories in here, very funny, great artwork, and just some classic stuff. And of course, they're thick back then, the 52 pages of all this great Archie stuff. So I'm really excited to get these in. I got them at a really good price, and I'm really happy to show them off. So the next three, the last three, they're all romance books, but they're big ones. Young Romance number 150. Now, we've seen this on my channel before because I do already have another copy of this. This is, for my money and a lot of other people's money, this is sort of the iconic DC Romance cover. It's by J. Scott Pike, and this is actually the fourth copy of this I've gotten. Never been able to get one above mid-grade. I picked this up at a really good price. I thought it was selling a little on the low side, so I picked it up. And once I got it in hand, it's nice. It presents really well for its grade. It's probably a 4, maybe a 3.5. But it looks really nice. The main thing, of course, with this is the cover, and the main image is basically untouched. Those of the issues are on the spine. There's also a crease over here, but it doesn't cut across her face. It's just along the edge. So it's a really well presenting copy for the grade. Since I already have a nicer copy, I will probably end up reselling this to recoup some of the money from these purchases. As I mentioned, this is the fourth copy I've gotten. I never found one so far above a 5.5. So, but I'll just, it's a comic I love getting. I love having. I love flipping. I just love this. It's one of my favorite books. All right, next up, this is the definition of a beater reader copy, a filler copy, but it's also a big DC Romance key. So that's why I picked it up despite the condition. It is, are you ready for this? It's Falling in Love number 1. Now, I've gone over this a few times in the past. DC had the big 7 romance titles, and of those big 7 romance titles, there were some that they purchased from other companies: Young Love, Young Romance from Prize/Crestwood, and Heartthrobs from Quality. But they also had 4 titles that they originated themselves, and it's Falling in Love, Girls Love Stories, Girls Romances, and Secret Hearts. And so getting the number 1 for all 7 of those titles is sort of a big romance goal for me. And the most expensive ones to get are Young Love and Young Romance, because those are the original titles from Simon and Kirby. And these are a little bit later. As you can see, this is already post code, so this is I think this is right after the code started. 55, I think. October. I think it's October of 55. But I'm really excited because now I have 3 of the 4 DC original first issues. I've got Falling in Love number 1, I have Secret Hearts number 1, and I have Girls Romances number 1. So that's doing pretty well. Now, this copy is torn from here to here through the entire book. Someone just grabbed it by the spine and tried to rip it in half. Didn't quite succeed, but came close. As a result, I paid very little for this. I only paid $18 for this copy. I've bid previously on low-grade copies without this kind of damage, and the last one I bid on, which was probably a 3.5 or so, it went for 3 figures. So really happy to get this for 18. Of course, when I have stuff like this, I'm always going to be on the lookout for an affordable upgrade. But you don't see them that often. You know, I've only come across Falling in Love #1, even scouring eBay for the last 2 or 3 years. I've only seen it on there, I think, like 3 times. So it's a copy where, while I want to get an upgrade at some point, it I feel like this is the type of book it's really good to have a filler on. A lot of these romances, it's like they're not that easy to get. So getting it, my priority is to get any copy, and then if I get an upgrade, I can then resell the lower grade copy. But it's better, in my opinion, to have the copy um, now, because romance is just continuing to creep up there. So Falling in Love #1, very exciting, but not the biggest purchase of the lot. The one that I paid by far the most for, and is one of the big keys. Some would say this is the biggest silver gold. I just messed that up across the board. This is arguably the biggest Bronze Age romance key for a comic book, as opposed to magazine size. I'll discuss that in a moment. And it is DC 100-page Super Spectacular #5, The Love Stories, giant size. Now, this is a book that, again, it's quite rare compared to a lot of the other books from the time period, and so that's basically what drives the value. It's reprints. It does have something I want to show you here, but you can't see it in the bag. And that is, it has a fantastic back cover. So an okay front cover, great back cover, very rare. My goal for a while has been to find a copy of this for under $100, and I've been looking and looking, and they don't come up very often on eBay, but they do come up once in a while. Because of the value, people will part with them because they can get the money. But this is the first one that I've been able to get for under 100. The guy, as you can see, the price tag, they have it at 100. They had it listed at 100, but there was a make an offer, so I ended up getting it for, I think it was after shipping, I think I paid $89 for it. So I was very happy to get a copy of this for under 3 figures. Now, it's low grade, it's probably a 2.5 or a 3, no better than a 3. It's got a lot of stuff messed up along the spine here, but it also has some tears along the other edge. So it's definitely a low grade. It's something where, with the amount that these cost, I may not ever end up upgrading this. I don't want to spend the money on an upgrade, but I did want a copy. The only way I think I would ever upgrade this is if I found a higher grade copy in like a cheap box where someone had mispriced it. And by misprice, I mean there's a lot of people that just don't know romance. So, yeah. So what this leaves me with now is, when I first started really getting into romance, I decided to focus on Bronze Age, and I made a checklist of all the top Bronze Age romance books as far as I could tell, the ones that the covers, the rarity, and all this stuff. And I made this big list, and I now have almost all of them. There's a few that are low down the list that I don't yet have. But in terms of Bronze Age romance, I now have basically all the keys that I was originally looking for, with the exception of Falling in Love #99. Most people consider that to be a Silver Age book. That, for me, kicks off the Bronze Age of romance. So I'm considering it a Bronze Age book. I've never been able to find one in the wild. I've bid on several, and I've never won them on eBay. I have gone into 3 figures. I haven't seen one sell for under 3 figures. So when I get that Falling in 99, eventually I'm going to do a video where I show off what I think the top 50 Bronze Age romance books are, once I have them all, because I want to be able to do that countdown. But I'm still missing that one, so until I get that one, that's just going to be a dream. But anyway, just to recap, very exciting batch. The Smokeshow, Star Wars #1, DC 100-page Super Spectacular #5, Falling in Love #1, Young Romance 150, and 2 classic Golden Age Archie books, numbers 28 and 33. So again, quality over quantity today. That's the whole batch. So thanks very much. Again, next week, I'll be doing probably on Monday. No promises on the time, but I'll be doing the first half of my Boy Comics run. I'll show off at that point. I might have a bonus video next week to celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be hopefully over the weekend I'll be talking with Julie Oliveira, who is an artist who did one of the variant covers. And I'll be talking to her about her sort of career in comics and the other books she's been doing on, and the cover she did for me for Crime Busters #3. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably do that on Wednesday as a bonus video, and then I'll have my regular video on Thursday or Friday. Might be Friday because of the holiday. I'm not quite sure what that one will be about yet, but we'll be digging into some more back issues because that's what the people want. They want the back issues. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.